gas, no brakes, pumped up, no fakes. We spinning, we winning, we high stakes. We never miss, we all makes. Look at us dudes trying to prove, bringing you news with nothing to lose. Mike, Nick, Tony, Wayne, Method, man, we bring the pain. Hey. See, I'ma confess it. We under the pressure. If you looking to find us, we them nothing but Niners. Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing but we them nothing but Niners.
What's going on, people? Look, man, we are back with another Nothing But Niners show, and my man Tone Roan is here. We are going to kick off this cool show called Panic Monday, man. But before we get into the show, let's go ahead and kick off these formalities. Number one, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button all throughout the show. We're going to make sure, or somebody's going to make sure that you make sure you're hitting that like and subscribe button. Notice how I said make sure 3 or 4 times. It's important that you make sure you're hitting that like and subscribe button. Guys, if you want to follow us on Twitter and Snapchat, the handle is right down there at Nothing But Niners. That's nothing but the number 9 ERS. Go ahead and get that done. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram as well. You can follow us spelled all the way out, Nothing But Niners, man. Our following on Facebook is huge. What we would love to do is get our following on Facebook to match the following on Twitter, to match the following on Snapchat, to match the following on our YouTube channel. I think it should be just uniform, right? What you think? All right, so, guys, we got our website, man. That's www.nothingbutniners.com. We got a bunch of writers that are going to be putting out a bunch of articles. Listen, training camp's going to be starting soon. You're going to want to read things. We're going to have writers coming at you, pumping out information, key information. So make sure you go ahead onto that website right there. If you need to email us for anything, any questions, suggestions, you want to send us photos of what you're rocking, especially if it's our Nothing But Niners gear, if it's regular 49ers gear, we want to know how much of a fan or 49er fan you are. You can go ahead and email us at nb9ers at nothingbutniners.com. And if you want to get some of the Nothing But Niners apparel, that's shopnb9ers.com. Man, we got all cool stuff up there, from hoodies to t-shirts. We're working on tank tops. We got whole flip-flops. We're going to be coming out with some things for you, man. It's summertime. It's time to get to the beach, man. Well, socially distanced beach. Make sure you guys are still practicing that safety. Tony, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for being here, bro.
No doubt.
A lot of words and birds and stuff chirping out there.
Yeah.
In the media world, man. So I thought it would be a cool idea to kick off a Panic Monday. We could talk about what everybody's thinking, and we can go ahead and give you the things that we know or we read about through to kick off this long week. All right, sounds good.
Yes, sir.
So everything's good with you, Tone, on your end. How's it going out there?
Yeah, we're good. Off for a couple of days, hanging out with the kids at the house, went in the pool. Doing our thing. In my development, the community pool by the clubhouse is closed because of the whole COVID thing. So I said, screw it. I'm going to go buy my son a blow-up 4x10 pool. And I blew that bitch up and filled it with water for the last 2 days, and that's what it is. They go swimming.
I was wondering why you went MIA for 2 days. Happy belated Father's Day to you, Tony.
Yes,
happy belated Father's Day. Thank you so much to all the fathers out there, all the fathers that I know are wonderful dads, man. Happy belated Father's Day to you guys. We're happy to be here with you guys on this panic, not manic, but Panic Monday. All right. So check this out. We're going to kick the show off with the latest breaking news. All right. So if you have not heard, and I'm sure many of you have heard, the 49ers State of Franchise is going to kick off tomorrow, June 23rd. And the cool thing about this year is it's going to be virtual. And it's a whole week long, right? You're going to get a different episode starting Tuesday through Friday. According to Niners Nation, I'm just going to read some of the things. The 49ers will host a week-long virtual State of the Franchise. Each day, the 49ers will drop 2 episodes, not 1, but 2 episodes for the faithful. General Manager John Lynch, head coach Kyle Shanahan, as well as players, DC Robert Saleh, special teams coordinator Richard Hightower will share their thoughts on the team, insight into the 2020 season. Yes, there looks like there's going to be a 2020 season. So thumbs up, fingers crossed, whatever you got to do, kick this season off. Let's get it popping. Here's the cool thing about the event, because I know it's open to season ticket holders. So when I first heard about that, I was like, oh man, I don't got season tickets, but check this out. The virtual event will take place on Tuesday, June 23rd, and go through Friday, June 26th. A new episode will air every night at 5 p.m. That's Pacific Standard Time. So I guess that's 8 p.m. for us guys on the East Coast. Veteran players will join the front office and coaching staff as well. It will be hosted by my man, Mr. Peter Schrager. Man, it's funny because I don't know about you, Tony, but I feel like he's one of the biggest 49er fans, and he has to kind of like always find a way to remain neutral.
Yep.
But he always shows the 49ers love, right? Or am I wrong? Oh, yeah.
No, you're 100%. You're 100%. I always had a feeling Peter Schrager was a deep down inside a Niners fan. So, but the interesting thing about this, the show that they're going to do for the season ticket owners, State of the Franchise, for the last 2 years, there's been one surprise every show. So the first year they released the black uniforms, the black and the red ones. The second year, was it that? I think it was, yeah. Yeah, it was the first. I don't remember exactly, but one of the surprises was the black alternate uniforms. Then it was Joe Staley's contract extension that was announced on the State of the Franchise. Ooh. Then they rolled out the throwback white uniforms. So I wonder what it's going to be this year.
That's a good question, Tony. So it could be another uniform color change, right? Could be another uniform change. It could be something we've never seen before. It could be them offering Joe Staley a coaching job, right? Because he hasn't technically retired yet. Well, he's retired, but I heard him say today, and I see our boy Hodges watching, and he got a chance. I think season ticket holders had the chance to already see the state of the franchise. I think that's what it is. So no spoilers, Hodge, no spoilers for all the season ticket holders out there. Please hold it, because Tony and I haven't seen it, and we won't be able to see the first episode till tomorrow.
Screw that. Yo, Hodge, DM me. No,
yeah, make sure you DM him. Do not tag me into that. All right, so who knows? Tony brought up a great point, man. He said that every year for the past few years, the past 3 years, they've definitely leaked out a secret. Like, they told us a secret. They gave us a surprise. All right, I'm dying to know if there's going to be a surprise. The cool thing, though, that is they're sticking to the social distancing. They're doing everything virtual, and it's amazing. We got to, I don't know how, like, for me, we've got to witness ever the first virtual draft. Like, that was amazing. So I can imagine from what they learned on the online draft, what they learned how to do, what the state of the franchise is going to be like when they introduce it to the 49er fans. Now, for those that aren't season ticket holders, I just want to point out that you can watch the event on the 49ers YouTube channel. All right, you can watch the event on the 49ers YouTube channel. And the team is also expected to announce the next member into the 49ers Hall of Fame. And on tonight's show, we're going to try to guess who that might be. It says that it's we're thinking it's a defensive tackle, and it says that he may or may not have played 14 seasons for the 49ers. So defensive tackles, get your brains working. We're going to try to figure out who that is. Again, please hit that like and subscribe button. It could be George Kittle's extension. It could be the extension of Trent Williams. It could be anything. Who knows what the surprise may be on the show. So we can't wait to get into that. All right, we're going to go ahead and keep going with the show. All right, Tony. So there's a lot of rumors going around. And the first rumor, or the first elephant, or what I want to address in the room, and I don't know if it's a dead rumor, and you definitely could speak on it, but I definitely want to introduce the Jamal Adams rumor, right? Jamal Adams posted last week that he wanted to be traded, and there were 7 teams he wanted to go to. Well, on today, or yesterday, not sure what the day was of the week, Jamal Adams was in Dallas, Texas. That's his home, right? He was home. And a fan was in a parking lot. He was driving through the parking lot, and he said, "Yo, you coming to the Cowboys?" And he said, "Beep, beep, I'm trying." So should we squash the whole Jamal Adams phase? That's the question.
As far as coming to us, yes.
Yeah.
I don't think it was ever going to happen, in my opinion. I mean, listen, he is a talented football player. There's no doubt about that. The 49ers had an opportunity to take him, and they chose not to. They took Solomon Thomas. But here's my thing. We're coming up at a point right now where we need to allocate money to our draft picks that we're hitting on. This team, it's been a long time since the 49ers have had to be to allocate money to draft picks, meaning extending them. So I can't see – I see adding him as a luxury player. I don't think we really desperately need that strong safety. I mean, people are saying he's a playmaker. I think he had 3 interceptions in 3 years. So I don't see the playmaker part. I definitely think he's he would be an excellent addition to the defense. I'm not saying he wouldn't be, but I just don't think they could go that route right now. A, it's going to cost them multiple picks. The 49ers can't afford to give up picks. B, it's going to cost a fat contract. They can't afford another one. And C, to be honest with you, I just don't like the whole way he's handling this. All in social media, bashing the Jets. He's in Dallas talking to a Cowboy fan. Man, I'm trying. You know, I understand you don't want to be a New York Jet. I understand you want to get paid. I understand all that. But you are a professional, and you got to be a professional throughout that process. If you truly don't want to be there, you need to go to the administration for the Jets and say, listen, please trade me. I'm going to keep my mouth shut in social media. I just don't want to be here. Get whatever deal you could, and I just want to be out of here. Not the way he's doing it, in my opinion. I just don't like that. So I was never a firm believer that it would even happen. But, listen, our GM was an ex-safety. So you never know. He could entertain it, but I just can't see it happening.
Yeah, you brought up a lot of good points. I mean, I think a lot of people wouldn't like that his point of attack when it goes about getting traded. He's definitely flamboyant about it. But playing devil's advocate with you about the situation, Tony, and I promise we were only going to spend about 2 minutes on this. Maybe he's tried that. He's been trying to get traded since last season, since the season before last. Like he's went to the administration. They didn't want to trade him. They didn't want to bait him out there. They didn't want to do all these things. So I do know one thing. I do know Jamal Adams will be traded. Will it be before the season? I don't know. Will it be to the 49ers? Honestly, I don't know. And I know a lot of people want to move on. They don't want Jamal Adams because he's, and I'm hoping you don't want him only because he'll be too expensive. I'm hoping that's what it is, because he doesn't seem like he's a guy to bring the locker room down. He's not a selfish player. He's a player that's saying, hey, I've outperformed my rookie contract, so it's time for you to pay me. When I say outperformed, we talked about this on the last show. He's a 2-time All-Pro, Pro Bowl safety. And Tony, you mentioned he doesn't get a lot of interceptions. Oh, well, that's probably because they got him lined up online to get sacks. He does have a lot of sacks. So, to have that on this team would be, like you said, a luxury player, having a luxury pick. I think he would fit the system very well, but who knows what's going to happen. All right, so that's Jamal Adams. Anything else you want to add to Jamal Adams? I just wanted to throw that out.
I agree. And the majority of the problem is, A, the compensation, and B, the new contract it would take. That's the reason why I don't see it happening.
But the only thing that confuses me about the new contract, right? So it's like, let's say Jamal Adams comes to the 49ers and he says, hey, I want to play. I'm going to play. Remember, he has 2 years left on his rookie contract, right? He's 2 years left on his deal. He's scheduled to make $10.7 million over the two. I'm not sure what he's making in 2020 versus 2021. I didn't look into it like that, but I know total he's supposed to make 10.7. Plus, I'm sure there's incentives in there if he does this, he does that, or whatnot. What if he does the 49ers a solid, just like Trent Williams did, right? And something like that is able to happen. Do you still see a way of them a way of the 49ers making it happen to work numbers wise?
If this whole COVID stuff wasn't in place and the uncertainty of the season, uncertainty of the cap in 2021, possibly. But listen, you have a lot of key pieces next year that are free agents. And just two right off the top of my head before even going down that list, your franchise your franchise left tackle potentially, and your franchise tight end. So those two guys right there, in my opinion, I'd rather them take that money and secure them than just allocate that type of money in a strong safety. Yeah, I mean, listen, he probably could play a single high safety because he's that athletic, and maybe the Jets scheme they force him to play more down in the box. Maybe that could be a reason why he doesn't want to be there. But on the other hand, we have a young nucleus, and I think this administration, this front office wants to keep that nucleus intact, and that's just what I think about that. I can't see them pulling a big deal like that, and I mean, because they're going to get to the point where they're going to have to move on from players, and if you're going to move on from players, you got to get your draft picks and restock your roster. And hopefully these guys will give you 4, potentially 5 years on rookie deals. That's how you keep that window open for a longer amount of time rather than 2-3 years. I mean, you want to talk about a dynasty, you're talking about teams that keep the nucleus together and just keep adding through the draft and plucking free agents that, low contracts, piecing it out. You can't take on a huge deal like that and forfeit at least a first-round pick. It's tough.
It definitely is tough. And we're just going to have to stand back and see what happens and see what unveils for the 49ers. We do know that they're great at making deals. They're great at making trades, and they're great at getting guys signed contracts. So who knows what may happen. So Tony, just let's recap what happened to the 49ers over the past week, right? So we didn't lose one, but we lost 2 wide receivers for about a couple of months, right? So you figure our number 1 wide receiver, Deebo Samuel, is out with a Jones fracture in his foot, and our number 6 wide receiver, Richie James, is going to be out maybe for a longer duration than Deebo with a broken wrist. Now, with those 2 wide receivers being injured, I do feel the wide receiver camp is pretty heavy. Now, some of the guys are unknowns, and some of the guys are knowns, but are coming back off an injury. Now, before we get into our next segment, tell me, how do you feel about the wide receiver core without those 2 guys in the lineup?
Well, I'm really bummed about the whole Deebo thing, and we did the breaking news about that, and we spoke our feelings on it, and I'm still bummed that I still can't get over it. But, I mean, listen, it is what it is. We got to move forward. I think this is a golden opportunity for Dante Pettis. If he can't make that step and show now in this opportunity with Deebo down and Richie James down, then he's not going to make this roster. There's no way. I mean, you're not going to get a better chance than this. And now, if you're going to look past Dante, you got your Kendrick Bournes. I mean, I'll just run down our wide receiver roster real quick.
Go ahead.
In no specific order. I mean, you got Deebo, Kendrick Bourne, Brandon Ayuk, Travis Benjamin, Jalen Hurd, Richie James, Dante Pettis, Juwan Jennings, Sean Poindexter, Trent Taylor, Chris Thompson, and Chris Finke. So with that being said, you got to take off Deebo and you got to take off Richie James. And just real quick about Richie James, this injury could potentially have saved him from not getting released. I think the team could potentially, give him the operation, fix the arm, do what they got to do, and stash him. Okay. And, maybe he comes back next year. He still gets a paycheck when he's on IR. The team is about doing the right thing for their players. We all know that. So that could be a potential scenario right there. As far as Deebo, you hear one report 10 weeks, you hear one report 12 weeks, you hear another report 14 weeks. No one knows except for his foot and how he feels at the 10-week mark, the 12-week mark, or the 14-week mark. So it's all speculation. So you pretty much got to knock him out for preseason. You got to knock him out for training camp, and you got to knock him out maybe first game of the season. We'll say that. But with that being said, I think this is a golden opportunity for Dante. I think it's a golden opportunity for Travis Benjamin. And I think it's a very, very big opportunity for Jalen Hurd. We already know what Kendrick Bourne's about. He's been working his ass off. He looks phenomenal. He does. He's in great shape. He put a couple pounds of muscle on. He's still shifting. He's still got that, elusiveness and creating separation on routes. It's great. But I don't think you're going to see this team force Ayuk. I don't. Because I think the learning curve, and especially without having a training camp or the OTAs and the mini camps, the rookie mini camps, I think that's going to set him back even more than it did Debo last year. Because remember how they handled Debo. You saw him sprinkled in on occasions and plays, yeah. But they didn't let the reins loose on him probably till week 8, week 9 maybe. And that's when he took off because he was comfortable. He knew the system. He knew where he had to be. He knew the routes he had to run, if there was an option route or if it's, on the snap of the ball, reading the shift of the defense, whatever it is, he was fully prepared and you saw it. He was comfortable and his play took off. So I think Hurd and Benjamin are two guys you really got to focus in on, and Dante Pettis as well.
Very, very, very good points. And before I get into my thoughts about the wide receiver core, and we go ahead and kick off all these rumors that are going on, you mentioned Dante Pettis, and Matt Mayako said a year ago, if he told the 49ers top wide receiver and punt returner was injured, you might think we were talking about one person, Dante Pettis. Here's why injuries to Deebo Samuel and Richie James provide an opportunity for Pettis this summer to prove himself. So, I mean, even the best beat writer in the world is saying this is his golden ticket. Like, he has an opportunity to go out there and put on a show. A lot of people aren't sold on Dante Pettis because he had a horrible year. They say he plays soft. They say all these negative things about it. But when he does get open, when he does score touchdowns, when he does do these things, it's like, yeah, like Pettis, and it's unfortunate that he doesn't get, the hoop ha and all that good stuff, because I think Dante Pettis, if he wants to be a football player, could be a great football player in this system. Like,
that's the key, though. You said it.
If he wants, right, and it comes down to that, and that's what we're going to have to figure out, especially during this training camp, especially when training camp starts, right? Because you said, with Deebo being out, we already know what Deebo can do, right? We know that Richie James is he's basically a return guy. I did want to ask you a question about that, so don't let me forget that. We do know he's our return guy. He did play wide receiver. He did catch the first touchdown of the 49ers season last year, if I'm not mistaken. Like, he caught a touchdown pass. The 49ers, to me, I feel, are going to go into the season with the core that they have. Like, I'm going to say that. But I will say this. If things aren't going the right way, or let's say if things aren't developing fast enough, because the 49ers were scoring touchdowns, Tony, in 2019 and the first six games of the season before they traded for Emmanuel Sanders, it just seemed like once the defense started focusing on the run and he had to pass the ball, it just seemed like guys could get open for whatever reason. So, we went out and made a trade. I think the 49ers might go ahead and either trade a 4-wide receiver for someone or see if somebody's a free agent. And that's where I want to kick off these rumors. Before you talk, Tony, he did have a question for you, so don't lose your thought. You said something about Richie James. You said that this may be a great opportunity for him because him getting hurt might have been the best thing, because he's going to get another shot, basically, getting on this team. Now, do you think the 49ers waste an injured reserve spot on him?
I mean, listen.
Is he worth that?
They could.
Because you only get 2, right? We only get 2, right, Tony?
No. You can put as many people as you want on IR.
But you only bring back 2. Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, shit. We've had the record for injured reserve, 22, 17, 15. So you can put whoever the hell you want on there.
It's about bringing.
You can only allocate 2 to come back to the active roster.
Got you. All right, what was your thought? I know you had a thought about what was going on with the wide receiver core.
I just wanted to touch on Richie James.
Okay.
And we spoke about this like numerous times on this show, and I even mentioned it on Dre's show because I was on it last week or a couple days ago. And Richie James is talented. He's fast.
He is.
He can create separation, but the problem is his success has to be schemed. He's not that guy that's going to go out there and know the system 100%, at least that I from what I see. All his big plays, there were specific play calls for him to get the ball on designed routes. Perfect example, the wheel route in Tampa Bay, wide open, touchdown. He had a great game in Washington in the Mud Bowl, but literally the offense was a mess. No one had footing. So what did Jimmy do? He would get the ball and just literally throw it right to Richie James, and he, could run good in the mud. I don't know. He's a mudder. He's like a horse, the mudders. But it's a shame because the kid does have talent. It's just I don't know if his ability to pick up that complex offense is the issue. I don't know, but I was a fan of his, and I was really pulling for him, but it just seems like he can't take that next step.
I just want to see him play more wide receiver. I think that's what I need. I need a heavier dosage of wide receiver from Richie James, because I think and here you could smack me. I just think I like him better as a wide receiver than I do him as a returner. Like and it's not that he's a bad returner. It's just that he plays it so safe to where sometimes he gets rocked, right? Because it's like, do I run it? Do I not run it? Do I no, he has the ability to take it to the house each and every time. I don't know.
There's been times where he's left stuff on the field as a returner.
Yes. And those are my issues with him.
Exactly. So now my question to you is, we drafted the best punt returner in the nation 3 years ago.
Yeah. His name is Dante Pettis.
So why isn't he back there? We also have Trent Taylor.
Which return punts. Yes, return punts.
Okay. Yeah, we gave 85,000 to Chris Fink, an excellent punt returner from Notre Dame.
Correct.
Okay. Benjamin could return kicks and punts. Ayuk could return kicks and punts. I mean, I wouldn't put a first-round pick back there, God forbid. But
Tony, you didn't even talk about the undrafted running backs.
Yeah, them too. We're just talking about receivers though today.
Oh, right, but I'm just saying, those could be people that take his job, right? There's a
lot of people.
That's why my question was: is he worth an injured reserve spot? Is he that valuable to this team? Can he be replaced? We know everybody could be replaced.
Sure, he could be replaced, but my thought process is: do they still see a glimmer of hope in his wide receiver skills? And if they do, that's where I think they stash him, to give him another year to really sit. Because if he's out, he's out. He's on IR. He's not playing no more unless they designate him to return. He could have another full season of studying that playbook and watching the field, watching these guys play, run routes, and make adjustments on the fly. If he could show, if they feel that there's a glimmer of hope that this could come out, that's when I think they do it. If they don't feel it, then they just might cut him.
Yeah, and the thoughts of Richie James, the thoughts of Richie. I mean, he didn't like to get tackled, so he made people miss. Jarrett Hayne had an elite card in Madden, 18, 19, whatever Madden that was, and that card was a lot of money. It's his only good card. But the thing I do like Richie James is really hard to not like him. I like the backflip antic. I like when he catches the ball. When he catches the ball, it's electric, bro. It's like, he might take it to the house. All you gotta do is make a person miss. It's just that I don't see it on the return game. It's like he's not scanning the field. He's not reading, the wedge. He's not doing something properly. Again, I think he just plays the return game super safe, and that's why we're not getting returns. And for me, I would love Jimmy to get the ball at the 40 or 50 or his 40. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, can you imagine Jimmy with a short field? Jimmy always got to take the ball at the 17, 25, and then, God forbid, you get an offensive holding at the 17. Now where we at? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how big the return game. All right, this isn't the Bass Richie James show. We just wanted to bring up that those two guys are injured, and here comes the rumors. All right, so we all feel, I hope we all feel, that Kendrick Bourne is pretty valid on this team, right? He's a valid. He's earning his validity as a wide receiver. I still think he could be a number 1 wide receiver, but you guys will laugh at me for saying that. But Kendrick Bourne, go ahead, Tony.
No, you're good.
Oh, but Kendrick Bourne puts out a tweet. All right, here's his tweet. Now, we don't really need to touch on the AB news because that's just not news, right? So if you don't know about the Antonio Brown rumors, I did want to talk about that. I don't have a picture for it, but we can talk about it after we talk about this guy. Kendrick Bourne tweets at 49ers and at Des Bryant, eyes. All right, let's break this down. Because I specifically asked him to please state his bid. Like, what did he mean? Like, what are you talking about? Why this? So let's go ahead and break this down a little bit because it gets super interesting, after that first tweet. It gets a little bit more interesting. So Des Bryant hasn't played in 2 years, 3 years, if I'm not mistaken, got injured with the Saints. And hasn't been back or returned. He did look good with the Saints, but he hasn't played since that Saints team, since he was on that Saints team. He looks like he's in great shape. I've watched a couple of videos. He was working out with Dak Prescott. But is this Des Bryant hope? Just talk about Des Bryant? Go ahead. What are your thoughts?
I think it's a possibility. Ooh. And the possibility is if it gets closer to the season, to if they only play preseason, 2 preseason games, and it's the second preseason game, and you see the 49ers reach out and sign him to like a 1-year deal with incentive-laden contract, that means something's not right with Debo. That's the way I see it. You're bringing a veteran in. I mean, he's not your speed guy, but I don't think they really need a speed guy because they have Ayuk, they have Benjamin, they have, even Jalen Hurts fast. So just for stability, like a veteran leadership, I just see if you see that deal get done that close to the season, it just raises red flags for me with the whole Debo situation.
Great point. Now, I did mention earlier on the show, I did say if the 49ers receiver corps just aren't producing fast enough or enough, efficient enough or whatnot, this might be one of those veterans that they do look at. Why? I don't know. Let's say, hey, we brought in Jordan Matthews and we're thinking about bringing him back. And I know that they're incomparable, right? Because I think Des Bryant is still over Jordan Matthews, but Jordan Matthews fit the system. You would be bringing in Des Bryant for veteranship and red zone, right? You would think he would be that target in the red zone. He's a big receiver. He's a big guy. He's not going to be a speedy guy. Tony said we got like 90 speed guys, and this might be a guy that they bring in if he's in physical shape and he passes a physical or whatnot. But what makes this super fun, right? And this is why I love 49ers. I love the fan base. Even though I talk junk about you guys a lot, I definitely love you with all my heart. But here's what I love about ex-49ers, right? So, Kendrick Bourne does that. Before I get to that, look who co-signed it. So are we having fun yet? I mean, we got some co-signers out here. Like, what is going on? Like, legit. So if you're getting your number 1 running back to say, ooh, that would be fun. Like, are they just having fun, Tony? Like, what is going on in the 49ers camp?
They definitely could just be having fun with each other. I'm sure these guys worked out with each other somewhere along the line. I think it's more fun than serious, like them actually signing this guy and bringing him in and having a big role. Listen, I don't think it's going to get done, but if you see something done if you see them add somebody like that, something's not right. I mean, you can even see with Jalen Hurts. His back could flare up. You don't know. We don't know. We're the outsiders looking in. We're trying to give you what we think. So, and I know a bunch of people are saying they would take Antonio Brown over Des Bryant.
Yep, Brown. Yep.
Antonio Brown. I'm sorry. Antonio Brown over Des Bryant. Me personally, I would stay as far away as you could from Antonio Brown. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And
Hold
it's
that.
just me as like a person. He is talented, but he didn't last in Oakland, who needed a wide receiver.
Okay, hold them thoughts. Keep going.
And he couldn't last in New England with a team with no wide receiver. Like, I just don't get it. Like, don't want to put that type of personality in this locker room because God forbid Kyle goes on one of those tangents where he says, like, you know what, we're going to run the ball 45 times because it's working, like the playoffs. And he's not getting catches. You think he's going to stay calm and say, oh, yeah, I'm good with it? No.
You know, that's a great point, Tony. And I'm sorry if I'm cutting you off because that's a super valid point. Yo, he's a cancer in the locker room. But he's cancer in bad locker rooms, right? Like, it's not like, you know, those locker rooms weren't great. I'm sorry. The Pittsburgh Steelers locker room wasn't all good, cracked up to be. You got your quarterback saying and doing whatever he wants to do. You got him talking about Juju because Juju had fumbling issues. So let's not talk about this. So like we were acting like Juju is this all stupid pro star. He did develop. He has developed, right? But he sucked at a number one, right? He wasn't great at number one. He was definitely the numbered slot guy because why? The coverage was on Antonio Brown. This is not me advocating for Antonio Brown. But since you brought this stuff up, let's just address this a little bit, right? So here's the thing. Like one of my guys, Mr. Dante Whitner himself, they interviewed him. And he said that the 49ers, I hope you guys get a chance to read it. He said that it's by NBC. He said that the 49ers should absolutely go and give Antonio Brown a look, a workout, and just about, you know, at least give him those things. He says that he can vouch for Antonio Brown. He says that they're friends. He says Antonio Brown has been mentally frustrated and things like that. You're right, Tony. He didn't work in Oakland. It's probably because he didn't want it to. He wanted it to work. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. He wanted it to work in New England, but then all of a sudden, the freaks came out at night. Like all these women just started saying, oh, blah, 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 whatever. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he was right in the situation. I think he was in a relationship with these women, like at the time. So I think he, you know, who knows? He did say, though, that he knows that if he does get reinstated to football, he's probably going to get suspended, going to readdress all these issues. He's probably going to be suspended for the first 6 or 7 games or whatnot. But he's saying having Antonio Brown on your team will definitely make you a better squad. So, I mean, I don't know how valid you guys like Dante. That's my guy. He's really cool to speak to, man. If you guys ever get a chance to meet him, very cool dude. But him and Antonio Brown being close and them talking and things like that, him being an understanding, you know, I think coming into, I don't think we give the locker room a lot of credit. I don't think we give the fact that the 49ers are all young guys, but they get it. Right, they get what's going on there, and I just think maybe yes, he has the possibility of being a cancer to those young guys. Yes, Tony, if they're running the ball 45 times and he don't get that, I just don't think he'll give you that bad feedback because when you're dealing with a winning culture and things are being done right, and he doesn't see people being taken advantage of and things like that. I think that'll help him. That'll help benefit him. Plus, he's a little older. Maybe his mind is right. I don't know. But like you said, let's stay far, 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 far away from that particular type of a person because we got some championships to win. All right. So that is the deal with Antonio Brown. We talked a little bit about that. But there's a 49er wide receiver, Hall of Famer that responded to Kendrick Bourne's tweet, and I just wanted to put that out. So the second greatest receiver of all time, all right, the second, he's number 2. You guys better know who number 1 is. Terrell Owens says, well, in that case, 49ers, you know what I'm saying? Now, I've seen some wide receivers, yo. Terrell Owens got to be about 44, 43, 42, but the shape he's in. Now, that does not mean he could take a hit That does not mean like he he's not going to play wide receiver. But it's so cool how the ex-49ers, the new 49ers, like how there's the synergy that's working. I mean, you have to love something like that. What are your thoughts about Terrell Owens responding?
I love it. I was always a big fan of T.O., and I think I don't remember if it was Terry Donahue or Trent Taylor had traded him for a third-round pick and Brandon Whiting. If I tell you Brandon Whiting, you probably can't even tell me who he is.
I definitely can't.
So, I was kind of leaning towards giving him opportunity 2 years ago when he did this.
Is this when he went to Buffalo?
After Buffalo. When he stepped away, he missed. He didn't play one season, and then he started with I want to come back and play.
Got you.
So I was kind of like, you know what, give him a chance, but not now. He can't do it now.
He's 46, by the way, Tony. He's 46.
This is clearly a game right there.
Right,
this is them playing and bickering back and forth. But I tell you this, I take T.O. over Antonio Brown.
You know what? I wouldn't argue with you on that one. I think I would take T.O. over Antonio Brown, and you only need him to come in for situations. Yo, T.O., give me a first down. T.O., do this, whatever, whatnot. He's a baller, but he's 46 years old, man. Like after his third hit, I think he would be done. I think he would walk back into retirement. Like, you know what I mean? Like after that third hit, he does look good. He can catch, he can run. I think he runs a 4.5. Like he looks good. It's just, but like you said, Tony, it's definitely a game. And the reason why I brought these things up, right, is because the 49er players, with all the adversity that they have faced, with all the adversity that they're facing, currently there's a player in the 49ers camp that has COVID. There may be more. We don't know yet. Right, the test results haven't come in. We still don't know who that one player particularly was. A lot of people are saying that it's Debo because he went into the hospital for the surgery or whatnot. Not sure they would have even gave him the surgery if he had the COVID, if he had the corona. But that's just me. But here's the thing, guys. These players, and it's the young guys. You have to love it. The young guys are out there paying their respects to veterans that they've probably grown up to watch. You know what I'm saying? I can imagine if Kendrick Bourne got to watch, Des Bryant throw up the X, and how cool it would be for Des Bryant to come throw up the X in San Francisco. Or now that and then you got T.O. watching the young guys. So T.O. is looking at Kendrick Bourne. These guys are watching these guys work out. No one has worked out more, I think, than Kendrick Bourne. No one has trained harder.
Absolutely.
No one has worked out more, and he was not super vulgar with it. Like, he didn't give you everything about his life, right? He just gave you bits and pieces. That kid is working. Is he working to be a number one? We may not know. Is he working but he's working to be. You saw what San Francisco 49ers tweeted, and they took the picture and they had it on the wall, and it had all of his goals listed, and his first goal was to be a starter. Like, that's his first goal, y'all. So Kendrick Bourne is out there working, but the cool thing is that the players, the veterans, the ex-players, they're all out there watching this young kid. And that to me, Tony, says that Kendrick Bourne may be a leader. What about you?
Yeah, you're 100% right. He's trying to take that next step. He's trying to get that bigger role, that leadership role, and be a full-time player, full-time starter. And listen, if it all goes well, he's going to price himself right out of San Francisco, and that's it.
Yeah. And you mentioned that at the very beginning of the show when we started talking about you can't keep everyone. Remember you said that? You said you can't keep everyone. And I would be super happy. I would be exonerated if Kendrick Bourne priced himself out. He's going to go out there and ball out. Remember, we're missing Debo. We're missing Richie James. And Kendrick Bourne has an opportunity to be something and take on a better role. Mm-hmm. So these are all the things that can happen, guys. These are all the rumors that we have. We have one more wide receiver rumor. And it's not a rumor, actually. We wanted to break it to you. I'm sure you guys have already heard. But after speaking to sources from the Tennessee workouts, Trent Taylor was not. I'm going to say it again. Trent Taylor, shout out to at the SF 49ers, really cool peeps. My guy, Trent Taylor was not running routes with their group. So I'm going to stop right there because that should raise a what kind of color flag? Yellow
bright,
flag?
Bright red one.
All right, so let me keep on reading. So we had one red flag. Trent Taylor is still working back from the 5-foot surgeries that took away his 2019 season. The reason why I brought this up, Tony, is because we have a guy who has undergone that same foot surgery. And all we can do is hope and pray that there's no infection, right? Because I think the infection is what set Trent Taylor back. I mean, he also had back injuries and things like that. And I never realized that the foot injury was huge with him. Like I never realized that was a big thing. I just always thought it was with his back. And I was like, how's this little guy going to play football if his back's not acting right? But he really was struggling with the foot surgery. Like he got the infection in the foot and he had to have 5 surgeries to get it right. So with that being said, what are your thoughts on Trent Taylor? Because when you were mentioning the wide receivers, you didn't mention Trent Taylor. You said his name, but you didn't mention him as one of those core wide receivers.
Well, I didn't mention because Trent Taylor is your slot guy. So I'm talking about your boundary wide receivers.
Okay.
So now with Trent Taylor, and he had 5 surgeries. He had issues. He had the infection, but doing some research and actually on Dre's show, if you guys haven't checked it out, you got to check it out. I think it's called Niners All Day. It's a great show.
Great show. Shout out to
great
Dre.
Show. Check it out. Yeah, Dre, if you're in here, shout out to you. You're doing some great stuff. But I lost my track. Okay. So he allegedly has a deficiency in his blood, in his body, where the initial screw that they inserted into his foot or bone, the body rejected it. So that caused him to go in again. And that's when I think he got the infection. The second time they had to go in because the body rejected the screw. So they had to do another surgery to correct it with another type of screw made with different type of material or an anchor, whatever you want to call it.
Correct.
So listen, you saw Jimmy his first year, all right? Those 5-game stretches, Trent Taylor was his guy. His security blanket, he would run those rubbo routes, like would in and quick out, like he can create separation. He can. The question is, now I don't know if this is 100% true that he's still not participating. If it is, it's a serious issue.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not, and it's just being said that, allegedly, and he is participating, okay, that's good. But there's no infection, thank God, knock on wood, as of now that we know about. And I just think that if his ankle is not there by the time things get rolling in the offseason, they're going to depend on other people. Because if this kid needs to go under for a 6th surgery, something's not right. So, like I mentioned, you have that kid Chris Fink from Notre Dame. They paid a lot of money to get him to come here. Travis Benjamin, you want to go a bigger slot. You have Jennings and Hurd. You have other pieces here. But, another piece that you got to be scared about is Jalen Hurd.
Correct.
Is his back going to hold up?
Correct.
So, I honestly think the 49ers will add 2 more bodies to the wide receiver group. I don't think it's going to be big name guys. I think it's going to be not your street free agent, but your undrafted free agents from other teams to come in and compete. I definitely think they're going to add 2 guys. Now, the thing is, if they add those 2 guys, you see them drop a no-name guy and bring in a big-name guy, someone's not right. So that's what we're really going to have to focus and look for this offseason. As it gets closer, they add that big name. So, someone's not doing good.
I totally agree, man. And you answered Scott Beatty's question. So thank you so much for the contribution, Scott. Sounds like we need a wide receiver. Who's your favorite to pick up in free agency?
I mean, Taylor Gabriel's still out there, but he's very similar to Benjamin.
Yep.
I don't see them bringing back Jordan Matthews because I think we have a lot of the same, especially in Jennings. I think Jennings is better than Jordan Matthews right now, more talented. I don't know. I don't know who's really a free agent. I see someone just put Demaryius Thomas. I don't know about that. Yeah, so I just think their moves leading up to the season is going to tell you a lot about how they feel about this group. And listen, it's not like we don't have nobody. We still have Kendrick. We still have Ayuk, Benjamin Hurd. We still have players. The thing is, the experience is not there. And the sad thing is, Debo was our most experienced wide receiver. Well,
I think Kendrick Bourne is the most experienced.
Tied with Kendrick coming into this season. So now our veteran leadership is either going to be Benjamin or Kendrick Bourne. Benjamin has more time in the league than Bourne. Bourne has more time in the system. Well, technically.
Yeah, I agree. So if I to answer Scott's question, if I'm going to pick up a free agent, and I'm only doing this because if he can get reinstated, and I know you guys probably thinking I'm talking about Antonio Brown, but I'm not. I'm talking about Josh Gordon. And here's why.
Man.
Listen, man, look, he had issues with weed. And weed is now legal in the NFL. Like, you can smoke pot, marijuana, Mary Jane, Kush, Purple Crush, whatever you want to call it, you could smoke it, right? So here it is. I would go get Josh Gordon. I see my man Devilson put Josh Gordon up there as well. And you don't need him to be a number one. You don't need him to be a number two. You just need him to come in. You don't need him to be a leader. You just need him to come in and make plays. That's it. And if he's gonna pass time until Debo gets back for whatnot, I can see him fitting his way onto this squad, especially now that the pressure of him being kicked out of the league again has been lifted, bro. Yeah. Now that it's been lifted, I could see him because let's keep it a buck, yo. Josh Gordon always balled out. He never, ever, not once was weak on the field. He just couldn't stay on the field. He couldn't stay on a team, and it was due to his addictions or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And if his addictions is only that, I say give this kid a chance. He may work with Kyle Shanahan on this go route. Remember, guys, these kids are now older. And I want to factor that in there. I know they got issues. I understand that. I understand some people just can't ever change. I get it. I'm just a person that just gives, you ever heard of the prodigal son story? I'm just a person that's willing to give kids many, many, many chances until they get it right. Because at some point, they got to fall like hard enough on their behinds to really get the lesson in the story, right? So, hey, that's the guy I would go after if we had to go after somebody. I'm all cool with our wide receiver core, Tony. I'm hoping that the injuries to Jalen Hurd are being sustainable. Like, I'm hoping he's doing well. I'm hoping that Trent Taylor's foot isn't, I know what we just read, but I'm hoping his foot is going to be fine. I'm hoping that the stuff goes well with Debo Samuel and I'm hoping Richie James heals from his wrist injury. But out of all those guys that we mentioned for being injured, I do agree and think Richie James has the hardest time coming back, making this squad, because I think guys are going to step up and show out. And God forbid Travis Benjamin makes this team and is healthy. He's another injured guy that we got to worry about. So it's not like we're getting all super healthy guys. We're not. This show is about everybody panicking. And we want to let people know you don't have to panic because injuries happen. right? Injuries are going to occur throughout the season, before the season, and things like that. It's all about how you adjust. I call injuries adversity. That's the word I like to use when things just aren't going right and the 49ers got to face something that they just weren't prepared to face. It's called adversity. And I just do. Last year they went to the Super Bowl, and you said, Tony, that they had like 20 plus guys on the injury IR. Like, how do you go to the Super Bowl with 20 guys on the IR? Like, that's unheard of. 15, 20, whatever the number is. That's ridiculous, yo. Like, if they were able to overcome the injury adversity, I just think that the 49ers will figure things out. If they add a piece, they add a piece. If they don't add a piece, they don't add a piece. I think at the end of the day, they're going to be all good. And I really think the only way that they bring in a vet or they bring in a wide receiver for two reasons. The first reason, you said it. You said the injury to Deebo Samuel isn't going well. That's number one. Number two, the receiver core that's in there just aren't grasping the concept of the plays due to Corona, and they need a veteran guy to come in there and just make plays. It was the same thing they did when they went and grabbed Emmanuel Sanders.
You're right. But
Same
I don't
thing.
see them trading for a wide receiver like
I
Emmanuel.
don't see them trading. Correct.
Because I don't want to give up what we did, like how we did last year.
I agree. I don't see them trading because they don't have to, because Tony, you named a bunch of big name and no non-big name wide receivers that are free agents that can come in and do something. I'm telling you, they're talking about Jordan Matthew, and he may be back. Like they may go get him because A, he knows the system. B, I'm not sure what he would do, but he knows the system. And if you're looking for camp bodies, it might be cheaper to get a guy like that just to be in there in the camp. There's guys that we haven't really heard much of. Sean Poindexter, Chris Thompson, like, of course, the rookies that are coming in. We don't know what those guys are going to present, but we wanted to bring you today, or maybe every Monday, we'll do a Panic Monday show because a lot of stuff seemed to come out, and we'll try to see what everybody's panicking about and have the show. But before we get off the air, before Tony has his final thoughts, Jashawn, thank you for the contribution. Truly appreciate it. I'm not sure if you had wanted to say something, but your comment didn't post. So if you go ahead and post it down here in the regular chat, if you have a question or a comment or whatnot, I'll go ahead and I'll post it up there. But thank you so much for the contribution. We truly appreciate you. Let's see. Sean is back. Would you give Tony another? Whoa. I mean, I didn't even have to ask him because Tony can apparently read, right? So Tony said, hell no, it's really what he was saying. So I'm going to interpret it for you. But why not?
Listen, he's a very talented cover corner, but I saw a couple things on tape, and especially I think versus us with Kittle running down the field and like the Olay type of tackling. And I just didn't once I saw it, it just sat with me. And again, a first round pick, a big contract, things that we cannot really do right now.
I agree with you. I just want to post something that Mark wrote. He says, can we talk about the COVID situation and how the NFLPA said players should not continue to practice or hold individual practices because there is 10 teams with at least one person with COVID. Here's my thoughts on this, Mark, and then I'll or Tony, if you want to go first, you can
go ahead. Please go. You're good.
Guys, I when I talk about COVID, I have a couple of friends that have died from it. So when I talk about COVID, like I just want everything to stop. Like I want things to stop, things to get put on pause, regardless if it's super serious or whatnot. Again, I've lost a few friends to this, and I'm 39. So it's not an old people's virus, is what I'm pointing out. Like, I'm old, but it's not an elderly, virus anymore, right? Matter of fact, when I go running every day, like I see the elderly out. If there are a bunch of teams with players with at least one player, and 10 is almost half. So if there are a bunch of teams with players with this virus, I think they need to maybe stick to virtual practicing. And then if everybody's doing virtual practicing, then it kind of evens the playing field. And then when it comes to having to get on the field, you just have to deal with what you have to deal with when games resume. Um, so if COVID is still that serious and still that prevalent and more people are still getting sick, I think they should just stick to everything virtual. It doesn't mean that they should shut the game down, but give it a couple of months with just the virtuosity stuff going on, and then let's see how it pans out when they start practicing. And then maybe you won't get any cases of it. So I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about the COVID situation. It's something serious. So maybe they should shut the NFL. If this is true, I'm not sure if that's true, but if it's true, what I just read, maybe they should just shut stuff down and do virtual practicing. What do you think?
Very, very, very valid points. But unfortunately, I think if they do keep stretching this virtual,
Don't say it, Tony.
it's not going to be good.
All right, go ahead and say it.
No, I'm not going to say it. I don't want to say it. But if it keeps staying virtual, like, the meetings, I don't think they could have an actual virtual practice. I think that would be really tough. But I just can't see how they're not going to allow these teams to practice, right, and expect them to play like in a season.
I understand.
So I think they need to make a decision. Either you're going all in or you're all out. You can't do half. You can't do we'll do this, but we'll let them play in the game, but during the week they could do film study and everyone has to be 6 feet apart. No offensive lineman. You could just throw ball, pass on air, 7-on-7 type thing. I just think, especially with football, you have to be all in. You have to be. It's a full contact sport. There's contact throughout the whole damn game. People are sweating. So I think really it comes down to them making a decision. We're going to go or we're not going to go. And I honestly think they're going to go because the NFL is huge. And I just can't see the NFL not having a season. I can't.
Well, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to. I'm just thinking that the NFL is going to have a season, regardless of how they figure it out. Whether they virtually practice until it's time to really, until things kind of die out, and then they start regular practicing, or they don't practice at all and then they cancel the season. Who knows? Maybe we're panicking. Maybe we're over panicking. Who knows? But Tony's for real. Like what you said is spot on. My point is though, you're right. They either got to be all in or all out. Me, it's got to be a little test and trial, man. I just think that they just allow guys to, you saw guys get together on their own and what happened. So
yeah, and but the whole thing is okay, you get tested, you are positive for the coronavirus. You know how many guys I worked with that tested positive that were out on 14 days quarantine that didn't even have a runny nose? You're asymptomatic. So it's not like you are sick. It's not like, I don't know. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to spill my guts about what I think about what's going on, but I just think that there is a coronavirus, there is something going around 100%, but it's to the fact that you could be positive and not be sick.
I agree.
So you're going to hold a season up. You're not going to pay people to do a job or play a game. You're going to take things away from people that are home, that are excited, look forward to Sundays and say, oh my God, football. I can't wait to watch football. Is it 1 o'clock yet? Is it 4 o'clock yet? Is it 8 o'clock yet? People look forward to this shit. So I just think that football is huge and it's going to go on.
Of course, it's going to go on. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar corporation, right? So it's got to go on. Players got to play to get paid. Things got to happen. It's their job. Like I said, if the virus isn't as deadly as it was when it first started, and the numbers are dropping and things like that are happening, I'm all for it. What? But if things are progressing worse, I mean, you say we're saying what we're saying, but then you got states like Florida that are struggling right now, and then the other states in the South that are struggling right now for whatever the virus is, whether it's Corona or a different virus, who knows? All I know is those states are struggling. People are being sick, people are dying, like things are happening right now, right before our eyes. And we want football, no doubt. I'm hoping we get football 100%, but it really hit for me. It hit hard when a person in the 49ers camp got it. So now I'm like, dang, like we were good, we were cool, everything was good, but now it's hitting home. Because if you're a Niners fan, that should be hitting home for you, and it should just make you think. I know somebody posted kids are going back to school in the fall. Like, I didn't get that memo, so I don't know what state you live in, bro, but in Connecticut, it hasn't been declared yet. That kids are going back in the fall. I think the goal is to have them go back in the fall, but right now it's still up in the air. That's it, man. That's what we wanted to bring to you. We jot down all the rumors that we talked about, that we heard about today, over the weekend, things that went down. Of course, as more rumors come along, if news breaks, we're going to give you some more shows, guys, throughout this week. Stay tuned, because we are definitely going to be doing our next position breakdown show, featuring Tony. He's going to be hosting that show. I hope he's ready. I'm not sure what position we're going to be doing, but I can't wait to do that. And I think all the guys will be on that show. But we truly thank you for tuning in to tonight's show. We wanted to talk about everybody's panicking. Let's stop panicking. Let's just go out there, have a good time. Our guys are going to be fine, guys. Injuries happen. Okay, injuries happen. They're part of the game. All right, so let's not panic. And I mean, it's okay to panic, but it's our job to reel it in, get the paper bag, blow in the paper bag, do all that good stuff to get you guys tuned up. Before I go, though, I do want to shout out a couple of people. My artist, man, she be on it. She painted me this amazing Black Lives Matter joint. I'm going to give it full screen, so as soon as I figure out how to do that, boom. So I just want to hold that up. So if you follow me on Twitter, you see me post this. But she does amazing artwork, guys. She's a 49er fan on top of that. It's not like she's not a 49er fan. She's a 49er fan. Her name is Alyssa. I will sit there and put her banner at the bottom as soon as I find it, or whatever like that. But make sure you guys give her a follow. If you want any artwork done, all you got to do is inbox her on her Instagram. It's at sunray_studios_design. I know that's a long ass name, but do what you got to do. Make sure you're giving her a follow. Please do it for me, do it for Tony, do it for the Nothing But Niners family. She created a whole Nothing But Niners like locker room. Everybody got a different picture, man. And it was funny because it started with Nick, then I think I got mine, Mike got his, Tony went to the left and got a freaking helmet. I was upset too. Tony got the helmet, but it's all good. So make sure you guys go ahead and give her a follow. Black Lives Matter. This is really cool. Like, this is a one of a kind. I'm sure she doesn't have any more. So if you want something like this, then you're going to get something exclusive. And that's the one thing I love about her. And the next I want to show, let's see. Look, I got my own custom. Check this out, y'all. What that say up there, yo? Can y'all read it? I know it's shaped. It says Niners, and if y'all could read, I don't know if them letters, some diamond letters, stone, whatever they are, it says Breezy, right? So I got my own custom 49ers chain by my girl Michelle off of Instagram. You can follow her at Just Beating Around on Instagram, JBA. Give her a follow. Here's her business card right here. You guys can read that. All right, Just Beating Around. She does exclusive work for all the teams, but her 49er pieces were legit, and I needed mine exclusive, so I got the Breezy on the joint. I'm trying to make sure all, if you wear chains, we got to make sure everybody gets something from the Nothing But Niners family, yo. We're doing our thing here, man. And, yo, that's what we do, man. Support these small businesses, support Black Lives Matters, support the things that we need to support to keep this world a safe, secure place for our children. Yo, yesterday on Father's Day, Tony, was so cool because my oldest son came over. Now listen, I'm gonna say this, and I hope no one gets offended. You know what I'm saying? But my oldest son, he's 19. He'll be 20 in March. For the first time, not only did he like text me to wish me a happy Father's Day, like early, like he stopped by the house and he brought me a card, like for the first time. Like I've never received a card for Father's Day from my oldest son. So when he came over, I don't think he knows how. Just him being there was cool. But the fact that he brought me a card and I could tell he picked it out, like it was all him. Like that junk hit me. It just hit me a different way. You know what I'm saying? And yesterday was the best Father's Day for me, Tony. I don't know about you, but I had a blast. I had a full ass plate of food, surf and turf. You saw the pictures, bro. It was surf and turfing going on in here. It was ridiculous, man. So for me, this was probably the best, most sentimental Father's Day that I've ever had in my entire life. Shout out to my oldest son, Taylor. You won't see him much because he's a Patriots fan, so I try not to broadcast him a lot. But he will be probably on the show when we do the Patriots game. He'll be there. Like I know he will. So Tony, I hope your Father's Day was great. You have an amazing family, man, and
definitely great.
I know they definitely took care of you, man. And for the first time, it felt like Father's Day was like a real holiday. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was hard to get into restaurants. Like usually Mother's Day reservations are booked from like January. And on Father's Day, you could get into a restaurant if you just pull up. Oh yeah, we got seats available. But yesterday, I had to go to the grocery store. We had to cook. You know what I'm saying? Everything was packed. So shout out to all the fathers again out there, man. Happy belated Father's Day. Thank you, women, for allowing fathers to enjoy their freaking day. I don't think my wife asked me to do one thing. She made banana pudding. I did the cooking on the grill, but she didn't ask for anything. Like she just let me just enjoy my day. That was cool. Real cool. Any final thoughts, Tony, before we go on and get up out of here?
No, I mean, I think we pretty much touched on everything. It's just like there's a lot of – it's going to be like this. There's going to be a lot of rumors flying right up until the season, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So you just got to, take it as it is, listen to them, wait it out, and that's it.
It's going to be crazy, man. I can't wait, Tony, until things just start like kicking off and we get to see the guys actually run plays. We get to see the 7-on-7s. We get to hear Matt talk about, they didn't look good in the 7-on-7 on the offense, but the defense looked really good, which is what we were hearing all last season. Wait a minute. That makes sense, bro. We were hearing that all last season about how the defense was looking good. The offense struggled this day, blah, 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 blah. And while that kind of came to fruition then when the regular season started and then they made the trade and things happened. So like Tony said, guys, tune in. We're going to go on and get up out of here, man. We truly appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much for subscribing. Make sure you hit that like button, please. And make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend about the Nothing But Niners channel. Tony is saying hit that like and subscribe button. He's saying it's right down there. That's exactly where it is. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button before you go on and get up out of here. All right, guys, we're gonna be out, man. Tony, it's been real, bro. I'll catch you on the next show. All right, man. Let's prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain.
But always remain faithful.
Remain faithful.
We out. Peace.